Almost ordinary, but not quite ordinary eggs. Let me show you how to serve eggs in a completely new way. Start by placing a boiled egg on a piece of plastic wrap. Wrap it tightly in the plastic wrap. Next, insert a skewer along the top part of the wrapped egg and secure it with adhesive tape. Flip the egg over and insert another skewer in a similar position on the opposite side, securing it with tape as well. While attaching the skewers, remember to add extra layers of plastic wrap for reinforcement. Then insert a final skewer between the first two and wrap the egg tightly again in plastic wrap. To increase pressure and secure the ends, fasten rubber bands on both sides of the wrapped egg. Leave the prepared egg in the refrigerator for about an hour. After cooling, carefully remove the plastic wrap and skewers. You'll notice the egg has taken on an unusual shape. When sliced, the pieces will resemble delicate flowers. Use this creative method to decorate a plate in a unique and artistic way, surprising and delighting your guests with this decorative culinary touch. Pour 3 egg yolks over the garlic, and you'll create a delicious dish. Transfer the contents of the plate to a bowl. Next, add 2 whole eggs. Blend all these ingredients with a hand blender until smooth. Then, add 1 teaspoon of salt. The next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Add finely chopped parsley to the mixture as well, which will give it a delightful aroma. Next, mix in 150 grams of natural yogurt, stirring thoroughly throughout. The final ingredient is flour. Gradually add the flour, mixing until the dough becomes elastic and easy to work with. Transfer the dough to a floured surface and knead it until you achieve a smooth consistency. Then roll out the dough into a circular shape and cut it into triangles resembling pizza slices. Heat oil in a pan and fry the garlic triangles. Fry them for about 3 minutes on each side until they are golden and crispy. Once done, remove them from the pan and place them on another dish. Serve these tasty, savory snacks with fresh herbs and yogurt on the side. The combination of garlic, parsley, and the crispy texture will leave a lasting impression. This dish is perfect for a party or when hosting guests. My grandmother used to check eggs like this. She would observe which ones spun and which ones didn't. She had her reasons for doing so. She would take 3 eggs, holding 1 in each hand and placing the third between them. Any egg that spun, she would set aside in one container, and the ones that didn't spin, she would put in another. I'll reveal what that meant later on. Nowadays, hardly anyone does it this way anymore. I learned a different method from her. I know how to tell which eggs are fresh and which ones are old. If I have several cartons of eggs in the fridge, I can choose which ones to use for breakfast omelets. All I need is a glass of water for this. I put an egg in it and observe what happens. I prepared 3 glasses. I poured water into them. I'll show you how an egg might behave in water. When placed in water, an egg might sink to the bottom of the glass. Alternatively, it might float on the water's surface. In the third case, it might float halfway in the glass. What does this mean? Fresh eggs sink to the bottom. The freshest ones lie horizontally at the bottom. Eggs several days old float a bit higher. Eggs 2 to 3 weeks old float in the middle of the water. The oldest eggs won't sink. They float continuously on the surface. As for the trick with spinning eggs, my grandmother used it when a hen was sitting on the eggs. She would leave the eggs that spun for the hen to hatch. The ones that didn't spin, she would take home. Don't throw away eggshells. They're too valuable. You'll be surprised at what they can be used for. Take a pot of water and put the eggshells in. Boil them for a few minutes, then drain the excess water. Next, spread the shells on a baking tray. Bake them in the oven for an hour or 2 at a low temperature. This will perfectly dry them out. Eggshells break down easily. Then prepare a blender. Put the shells in the blender. If dried correctly, the shells should easily break down. Blend them into a powder. Add a spoonful of laundry detergent and blend again. Then add a spoonful of baking soda and blend once more. After proper blending, the mixture should become a fine powder. Transfer it to a container. Now, Take your burnt pot and sprinkle the powder onto the burnt areas. Use a wet sponge to scrub. As you'll see, the pot looks like new. Eggshells have become a perfect cleaning agent, so never throw them away again. This recipe will save you a lot of time on Easter. Place eggs on a baking sheet. Then, put them in the oven preheated to 200 degrees for 15 minutes. After this time, take out the eggs. Cut them with a knife. They will come off the sheet better. Transfer them to a blender. Add a large piece of smoked salmon to the eggs, and 2 large tablespoons of cream cheese. Finally, add chopped chives. Blend everything into a smooth mixture. Transfer it to a piping bag. Boil the eggs hard in a pot. Then peel them. Using a thin knife, cut a zigzag pattern. The knife should not cut through. Do it around the egg. Then remove its top part. Do not discard it, as it will be useful later. Cut a large diameter carrot into slices. Using a small knife, cut out a shape from them like in this video. Using a teaspoon, remove the yolk slightly from the egg. Place carrot cutouts under the eggs. Then, squeeze out the paste from the piping bag. Put it on top of the egg. Put carrot scraps into the paste to resemble beaks. Also, prepare a few peppercorns. Make eyes out of them. These cute Easter chicks made of egg paste look beautiful on the table, and kids love them. They are delicious and bring a lot of smiles to every guest. Fry a chicken in water, and you won't fry it any other way ever. The trick with water will make it crispy and juicy. It's hard to believe, but if you put chicken directly into oil, it often turns dry and rubbery. And on top of that, while frying, you have everything around the pot or pan splashed with grease. There's a better way to fry it. Use some water, and you won't have any more mess. You will see how it makes the crispiest chicken ever, thanks to a bit of water. Yes, just plain water. Get 1 kilo of chicken wings. Cut off the tips. We will use the wings drumsticks only. Prepare your favorite seasonings for the chicken that you like, such as salt, bell pepper, paprika, turmeric, or curry. Add them to the chicken and mix. Sprinkle the lime over the meat with the spices. In another bowl, scoop 1 cup of corn flour. Add half a cup of plain flour to it. Put a pinch of salt, and mix the ingredients. Set the bowl and a dish of water by the pan. Take a piece of chicken, coat it in flour, thoroughly the whole piece, then dip it briefly in the water. Wait until it drips and put it right into the heated oil. Let's do it again. I will show you this with another piece. It must be thoroughly coated in flour, then dip it very briefly in water. And when it no longer drips water, put it on the heated fat. You will be surprised. The fat will not splash if you do it correctly. See, I hold my hand over the pan and nothing splashes. After a while, the chicken is fried. It looks extremely appetizing. Tasty. It is extremely crispy and very juicy. Try this recipe the next time you want to fry chicken drumsticks or wings. You certainly won't regret it.